Tonight's episode, The Endangered Species.
And welcome everybody. What happened to my background? I don't get a background? No, I guess I don't because like this. Well, I guess it's because I'm doing the whole screen. All right, so let me know if everything's working there. I'll flip this over. We're doing the weekly wrap up. So this is an opportunity to check out Second Amendment stuff that happened this week. And let's go ahead and save that for now. Now I'll share the screen over here. And why is it being weird? Oh, there we go. All right. So what do we need? We need to click on this and view on YouTube. Drag that over here, bring this over here, and so what do we need? So is everything working? Appreciate that. Thank you. So got a couple people out there, Clover's out there, 23's out there, DJ's out there. Thanks for showing up. We do this show live because scripted stuff and produced stuff is garbage. It's all fake and people hide behind it. So we do stuff live. And what we're looking at is stuff that was valid this week. Put most of it in here, but not quite all of it. So let's open up the history. Take a look at some of the stuff that we looked at this week. Gun Freedom Radio today. I'm not putting that on the list. This one was probably interesting. I don't know where Clover was with that one. It's just a bunch of gardening and stuff. We'll take that over here.
Did Gun Sense Texas fabricate a letter?
A lot of people hate John Crump, but he puts out interesting stuff. So let's see. We'll throw good or a regular gun guy. I want to say good guy. Too many guys, and I'm dyslexic. Let's see. What else do we got? I guess Clover's show can go up here. Boom. Pause that. Do this rants and raves thing. I think that's about all we're going to get from Tulsa this year. And what else do we got? Wait, which one did I put up here? 223 Bucky. I didn't even see this show, so I'm not going to put that one up there. This is the one I seen. So we'll put this up here and pause that. And let's see, what else do we get? Oh, this one was pretty interesting. We'll put this one up here. So what I'm doing now, I hate her. She's horrible. She's a horrible person. Come on, end. Let's see, what else do we got? Clover did a pretty good one. I guess we got one more coming from Tulsa. Come on. And what else do we got? I think I already put that one in here, and let's go look at. Go back over here again. Pause, and where are we at on here? Do we have the riding shotgun with Charlie number 100? We do. Why does it say 101? I thought that was his 100th episode. That makes no sense. All right, so now we can do what we normally do, which is take a look at what happened during the week. There's actually some other stuff that happened during the week. Where am I going to go look for that at? I guess I won't have it. All right, so let's see. Oh, that was this week. Holy crap. Was that this week for real? Am I looking at the right one? Close this. Seemed like last week. Oh, yeah, that was this week, I guess. So, or maybe I just, was that this week? I'm going to keep looking back a little bit. We got it locked and loaded, and riding shotgun. Actually, I don't know what it is. So we're just going to put it in there again. Whatever. Show only. What's all this? Out there, show Patreon only stuff. What the hell? I guess it gets to pay to watch. I don't know what that is. I don't know what you mean. So I do have some stuff where we chat with the Patreons, yes. But that isn't. It's just chatting with friends of mine. That isn't like some kind of show or anything. So we're talking 2A. Let's dig in. So yeah, the best point made by Sarah Hauptman. I don't know, what's her name? Where was that? That was on what? I didn't even link to it. I guess I just wanted to repost, but not link to it, I guess. So maybe I accidentally, oh, what the heck. So we're going to edit this anyway. So we'll go over there and what was that? The Polite Society Podcast, right? So I'm still looking through my history over here. Problem is I go back and I look at stuff, I guess. So that means it shows up more than once. Oh, this makes no sense. Where was it? I have to go over here to subscriptions and then go to Second Amendment Foundation, then go to videos and then look for Polite Society Podcast. That's not the right one. So, what the heck? They don't even have it in here? 4 or 5, right? Oh no, it's the weekly bullet. That's why.
People's guns away and leave them in crisis.
Yeah, and the other thing that strikes me as kind of,
I'm pretty sure they're not going to care if I hork it. In fact, I'm pretty sure they said I could hork it, so I'm going to hork it. We're just going to listen to it right now. So, boom, here's the actual link so that you all have it. But let's put it at the point where it's good to listen to, which I think is a little bit before here.
If you look at it from a humanitarian
Yep.
and it is
This is Paul Lathrop. Me and DJ always talk about this guy.
red flag laws on the state level.
and that with your look quick front,
Yeah, go ahead.
chime in on that.
Okay, so when you're trying to cue something up and you got your little gizmo here, the little thermometer bulb going back and forth, use the arrows on your keyboard, right? So the left and right arrow let me shift through all over the place. So now I'm all queued up and this is, I'm a little muffled. If I do this. Is that any better? Your audio low, videos are loud, but you are a little muffled. I also am clogged up, I guess. I didn't say nothing all day. So here we go. This is the weekly bullet from April 10th, which, okay, technically this is Saturday. So yeah, this counts as being part of this show. So weekly bullet, basically it's the Second Amendment Foundation pays Paul Lathrop to do this show. And then he does the show all week, and then on Saturday he does it at a different time for an hour instead of half an hour. And am I missing something? I think that's about the only difference. But well, here, let me try this then. I'm going to restart my screen here. I'll be right back. Okay, now is that any better? Click that off, go back to sharing the screen over here. Boom. All right, so let me know if that's any better. I think I can see my little thing wiggling over there. So, all right, so this is the weekly bullet, hour-long talk with Paul Lathrop, hour-long talk hosted by Paul Lathrop, funded by the Second Amendment Foundation. And thanks. So I don't know what they were talking about. It just says Cheryl Todd and Sarah Kate Hauptman and this guy who he just blows off is her husband, John Hauptman, talk about stuff. And about what, 51 minutes into an hour conversation, they're over here talking about the same old, right? Literally repeating things that have been, at least in my awareness, said 5-10 times already, depending on how often you want to listen to them. Then Sarah's like, here's what Sarah says.
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on.
Chime in on that real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about that with your liberal friends who don't agree with you, and they're like, well, of course you want to take their guns away. They're dangerous, right? If you look at it from a humanitarian perspective, what you're really doing is you're taking the guns and you're leaving the person behind. You're leaving behind a person who is in crisis with zero other support, and you're basically doing the least possible effective thing that can actually help them. So if you look at what actually helps people in crisis, it's things like access to mental health services. It's things like counseling and programs that can help them kind of get through the crisis that they're in. So it's possible to do those things while respecting their rights to own firearms. And that's actually addressing it at the root cause level instead of just trying to do a Band-Aid and like, oh, let's take their guns, that'll help. Like, no, think of it from a humanitarian perspective. What is going to help that person the most? And let's do that. And, we don't need to take people's guns away and leave them in crisis.
Yeah, and the other thing that...
Boom, shut up, dude. So there, that is it. That's why we won already. That's why it's over right there. That is one element of probably about 5 that finished the 2A argument, like, I don't know, probably at the end of last year, and we didn't see it. So, yeah, there you go. So basically, if somebody says, oh, we should take guns away because I care, and you don't care, then you can say, wait a minute, like, do you really care? Because it sounds like all you care about is addressing the easiest possible fake solution, and you haven't put any thought into it. So amazing. So if you take anything from anything I've ever said, there's a new way to talk about 2A. The people that are against it are idiots. The people that have already championed it solve 2A for you. It's done. It's over. I've been saying that that's the face of 2A is going to change, and it's changed. It's off the table. So there you go. That was awesome. So all the crap I give Paul for not being good enough to, or fast enough, being improving fast enough, he gets a whole bunch of credit back again for making that possible. So don't forget that, if we expect everybody to be perfect all the time, then we never get the little kernels, right? The little chunk nuggets of gold like this. Sarah blew me away in Chicago in gun rights policy 17, right? No, 18. So that was, 17. I don't remember. The first time I seen Sarah, though, she blew me away. And then the second time she didn't. So it was 17. It was in Dallas that she was really cool. And she's been on my radar ever since. In fact, she's one of the people that got me really interested in it because when I heard her stand up and basically tell everybody at AmCon to shut up, I was like, okay, good. There's good people out there, and I just didn't know about it. And then I started to dig. So thanks to Sarah, I started digging and found lots of other chunks out there. She's not always good, but she does do good stuff constantly. And this is a good example of it. So, there. So, I guess I'm looking at that and not this. So that was the first thing. I guess I'll go just to save. For now, I just added the link there, and we'll go back to the video description. Oh, I did these all into it too, though. So what we're doing is you're looking at my screen. I have StreamYard, which is a Canadian software that I have to pay money for. My Patreons pay for this. And this software, right, I'm going to shove back over halfway between one screen and the other screen, shows me these comments so I can kind of keep an eye on my peripheral that the comments are coming in. If I really pay attention, I can go over here and see that there's a number 11 up here, which tells me that there might be 11 people watching. But this is easier to keep track of when people make comments. And then on this screen, or this side of the screen, we're looking at the video that you're all watching. It's just that when I start to scroll down and read the description, I'll leave these description or these text comments behind. The reason my screen looks different than yours is because I'm running browser extension called vidIQ, and it gives me sort of X-ray vision into the statistics that are pushed whenever I pull a website off of YouTube. In fact, whenever anybody pulls a website from YouTube, it comes along with lots and lots of information, and this extension on my browser takes that information and displays it over in this column. So I probably look a little different with a bunch of weird numbers. It's like having a different kind of dashboard. And for those of us that are elite, we pay attention to that kind of crap sometimes. It's just easier to leave it on. I could probably toggle it off, but anyway, now let's get back into it. So that was the first point there that I'm going to say best 2A point made in a long time, not just this week. So lots of good stuff going out there. I guess it's called Guns Guide to Liberals. We had, that whole show wasn't that good because I found out that Guns Guide to Liberals is not what it sounds like. It sounds like it's like, hey, guns, here's your guide to liberals. Or at least that's one way to take it. But I guess guns possessive, even though that would mean that it's the guns guide, and then the guide is to liberals. So unless I don't understand my language, this is actually focused on liberals, and it's a guide to guns. So maybe that's a new funny way of doing language, like math, I don't know. But anyway, I wasn't too stoked about that because I could care less if, liberals decipher guns new ways. I guess it's fun for them. It just seems unnecessary and, like extra work. But if they want to go do it all over again, go for it. I'd rather see somebody translate gun liberalism or whatever it is to regular gun people, because that divide is what we're missing. And that's actually what I spent most of this show complaining about, is that we are missing, we have a massive rift, and it's not quite age, it's not quite tech savvy, and it's not quite politics. It's a mix of all of that. And that's what's keeping the older and more experienced, I guess, gun people from understanding that most of the new aren't idiots, but the new are idiots because they're doing everything over again. And I guess that's just all youth. We probably did it too, but we did it for a reason, because we knew everything. They're idiots. So what are you going to do? You just got to watch them do everything again, I guess, from zero. Like, don't even start where everybody else left off. They got to do everything from zero again. And it's wrong, of course, because they're just making shit up, but whatever. It's their right. So anyway, this was an interesting conversation, and there was definitely a gold nugget out of there. Also, Cheryl Todd was on there. She didn't do anything amazing this time, but she is amazing. So there you go. Fight on all fronts. Knowing, here's a thing I also tried to pull from that and push onto Instagram and onto my other places. You can listen to this and go, that guy likes weird shit. Or you could listen to this and understand that you win by being better than your opponent. And that includes knowing their position, their point of view, better than they do. How do you win a conversation when you are more aware than the other person and can put yourself into their shoes so that they understand you? You're not having a fight with them. You're having a conversation. So when you understand their position, and you understand their position better than they do, you can have effective conversation. And I don't know if you care about that, but that's why I value watching some of this stuff and gleaning stuff from these new 2A fighters. And they're fighting the hell out of it. It's just that they're aimed at soft targets, which is frustrating. So we're right. We have amazing people on our side, and we have great resources, and there's more on the way. I'll caveat that with, they're not just always perfect. Half the time they're wastes of time. Like half the time they're doing stuff over again from zero. So I think we'd be much better off if the old and the new mixed a little more often at least, and saved a lot of time for the new and gave the old some inspiration and some new ideas, because the old's better. We're better than them. All we do is need to wipe the dust off and quit saying the same shit over and over. Anyway, next we get Locked and Loaded, which is always awesome. This week, They just kind of ranted about Biden. I think they're a little pessimistic, but what are you going to do? They're a great show. We'll see what they do this week. When I get to the Texas House coverage, a low point and a high point, if you want to show those. Oh, you're talking about in your video? Throw a link in here. If you want, throw a link with the timestamp. If you can. Let's see. Then we had Save the Second. I guess I watched this. I didn't really listen to it hard. I listened to this while I was out doing stuff in the garden. What are you going to do? Pincus, he's metal and he wears out the metal all the damn time. So what are you going to do? He's going to do his thing the way he's going to do it. And unfortunately, that's all we've got. Him and that other guy from, two other people. And that one other guy hasn't been around for a while. So we get the three of them. And that's the only three people that I know of that are publicly putting anything out there that talks about salvaging a 170, 150-year-old organization that Bloomberg, in his weird-ass wet dream, couldn't even, in his Scrooge pile of fucking money, being the 14th wealthiest person on the planet, he couldn't take down the NRA. There's nothing he could do to intentionally take down the NRA, but instead, it's fucking ironic to toast your marshmallows using some sort of vintage marshmallow stick over the NRA's fire because a fucking Wayne LaPierre bought suits. I hate the corporations and I hate rich people and I hate the system, but Wayne LaPierre is untouchable, so let's just let the NRA crumble. Fucking at least get paid by Bloomberg, you losers. Anyways, the only people that are even doing anything publicly to do anything, including me, because all I do is whine and bitch about it, is these people from Save the Second. 341 subscribers. Let's go see how many people watch that video. Considering I watched it probably 3 times already. Like I say, I just listened to it and I'm out listening to the thing. We got 7 people. I haven't even thumbed it up yet. We got 1 thumb down. And it's been viewed 54 times. So I'm probably 4 of those 50. Well, I guess it wouldn't count me 4 times because YouTube is legit. But in other words, YouTube actually has actual statistics. It cares about giving you effective numbers because they pay for their numbers and they don't exploit people for their numbers, where Facebook will just throw any number at you because both the idiot person who's paying for advertising and the idiot content provider will accept a bogus number from Facebook. Because both of them can smile all the way to the poorhouse instead of the bank, where at least on Google, they actually are competent business behind it and they're not going to fake numbers just for the sake of ripping you off. I guess that's a whole nother discussion. Let's see. Wanenmacher show got Charlie. Oh, this was me. No, well, me and Charlie. 45. He calls himself Papa. There ain't no freaking way I'm going to call another man Papa. So 45 Alpha Charlie is what I'm going to call him. Had a show. He was on somebody's show. I guess he was on G23's show, I think. And then I was like, hey, dude, let's do a chat. And then we did. So this is a link to his channel. I would subscribe to his channel. It seems like a pretty good one. And then you got Roll Call, who was the only authentic review of the Tulsa Arms Show. Everybody else is just like, oh, yeah, we've been to Tulsa a million times before. Big deal. But Roll Call was like truly enthusiastic about it. Like, say, him and Budget went a day early, spent extra money and everything to go. Hopefully people keep that in mind and support them dudes for what they're doing out there. And then Roll Call went on before the show, chatted a bit. He kept going on live during the show, which is pretty cool. At the museum, I think, a little bit. And then I think this show was after, like his recap. But then he actually went live after he got home, too. So. And then you get to Clover, who, he's been going for a while. He's the one that started everybody doing the media thing. And then, we were able to get gun channels to jump on top of his work for years. And he did an excellent, I guess you had to dance around being like, he didn't want to make it a commercial or have YouTube interpret it as a commercial, but great summary or glimpse, I guess, of the show. In a couple of moments, like in 3 minutes. So that was definitely worth watching. Okay, and then you get to this one. So he just says the times over here. So this is when he did a couple of different ones, and I don't remember. This is probably his earlier one because This is his other one, 15th. So first he did one on the 13th, and he was like, I didn't exploit it enough and make enough money. My 435 views. If you do the math for gun channels on YouTube, you take the number of views and you multiply that times $10. So if it's 435, he made $4,350 on this video so far. And this has already been up for just a few days. And then you go over to this one, breaking news, 2,000. That's like $20,000 he's made off of this video. So he was like, you know what, I can hork a little bit more money out of YouTube with this. Bam, oops, bam. Makes a bunch of money. It's just like wringing out a washcloth, except it's money instead of water that comes out of it. Let's see. So I don't know which one he's saying. 2 hours and 38. Holy moly. Oh, this is a 5-hour video. Are you kidding me? A low point is 2:38:18. So you go to here and boom, right there. Oh shit, I moved over. So I'll tag it over. Boom, boom, boom. There. That's close enough.
Because we know that these kinds of guns.
Because she pulls out her phone, that is rude.
You don't need training even to carry them. Of course, you don't need because
forces of the Arlington Police Department, in addition to creating a lot of unease in the general public.
Why has this guy got a red ribbon on? I don't like it.
well, I'm not surprised by that.
Why does she got a red ribbon on?
Because we know that these kinds of guns, you don't need training even to carry them. Of course, you don't need a background check to buy them. You don't need training
What?
to buy them.
What?
People can possess these guns. And how do you
I'm
defend?
sorry, I just kind of
What guns are they talking about?
passed out.
What?
Did she just say, what'd she just say?
You don't need a background check to buy an AK-15 or whatever, apparently, or a AR-47. Like, what?
It's understandable that it is reduces anxiety for people when they see this in public.
And as a real distraction.
You don't have a constitutional protection against not having anxiety.
I don't get that. So yeah, that definitely seems weird. I don't know why that guy didn't challenge her or whatever. That's weird. So the other one is at 44324. 44324. So let's go back a little bit.
And I can't remember what he said the hang-up was with that exactly. But maybe
Yeah,
it's
I don't
still.
know. And like I said, this is not last year, but it's probably 2019, I guess, when I was flying back. And I had to pull an ID, show my ID to say when I was in Arkansas. She kind of looked at my carry permit. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll give you my license. Oh, no, it works. So a carry permit. I was like, what's going on?
The high point is you two talking to each other. I don't know. You got the wrong timestamp, I think, on that one. Unless he thinks the high point is him and Ghost talking 4 hours into this. So that must be when it passed the House. So here's the deal. Texas thinks they're so good. They always act like they're so good and whatever. But here's the deal. They can't carry openly because they're scared of guns in Texas. So they act like they're so good, but they're scared of guns. So it's been a thing and they can't stand it. The people in Texas who aren't afraid of guns, they can't stand it because they got to be perfect all the time. So yeah, it bugs them that they don't have open carry. In fact, there's a thing called Open Carry Texas. And Open Carry Texas is the people that go into the Chipotles with AK-47s on, scares the shit out of ladies like what's her name over here, who doesn't know how to describe guns good, and makes everybody think she's an idiot, and then perpetuates this whole thing. So is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? Would we be talking about open carry if there weren't organizations that constantly are working towards that? I don't know, but here's the thing. It finally got past the House finally. Texas does one good thing. They do a couple of good things, but one of the good things they do is have their legislature only once every 2 years. So they got to get a whole bunch of stuff done before they have to wait 2 years. And I don't know if Clover's going to tell us or not. Such a long stream, it is hard to use the slider. Yeah, I hear that. 9942. I gotta go from here. How often has this particular thing passed through the House to the Texas Senate? You know that? Is that a stat you have off the top of your head? Here we go. 44335.
I had to pull an ID, show my ID when I was checking in. And I accidentally gave her my concealed carry permit from here in Arkansas. And the girl started laughing. She goes,
Are you talking about this story? Is that what we're supposed to listen to?
she kind of looked at me weird. I was like, what's going on? And she goes, this is a concealed carry permit. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'll give you my license. Oh, no, it works. So she let it work, but she was like, this is not your license. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. But she goes, so, who knows?
Serrone says, I recommend talking about a printer. So
I don't know what he's talking about. That's just another conversation with YouTube. He's just trying to core conversations of his channel into here. That's a little joke him and Ghost got going, I guess, obviously. They chumped me into putting that conversation in the middle of my show. So that was Clover's thing. So basically he's saying at the end here, first time to pass either house. So that's pretty cool. So like I say, that's one of those things that's got to be pissing Texas off, right? That and the panhandle. That they haven't got open carry, which is ridiculous. And that's got to be some glitch that's what Dallas or Austin or something is doing. I don't know. I don't live in Texas anymore, but I'm just going to assume I can mansplain stuff to Texas easily enough. What's next? We had Clover, One Step Closer. Then we got riding shotgun with Charlie. So Charlie was in Alan Gottlieb's 7th Corvette. So there was a bunch of stuff talked about in this. First thing that was talked about in this conversation was that it's his 7th Corvette. So does that mean he has one of them people that has like a garage with 7 garage doors and there's a Corvette in every one of them? Probably 10, because nobody has 7 Corvettes and then doesn't have like a regular car and then also a truck, right? Or something. So, or does that mean like the dude just throws away Corvettes all the time and buys another one when he doesn't like the color anymore? I don't know. I guess you're allowed to like Corvettes, but holy moly, 7 Corvettes. If you need 7 Corvettes to kill a deer, then I don't think you should be hunting. So Charlie's been doing the show for a while. He drives around and he talks to people about 2A. Here's the thing. Yeah, he's been doing it for 100-something episodes. And he could have got out in the middle of there and said, you know what, it's easier to just talk about guns because everybody will eat that up. Like more people will watch this if I just talk about guns and leave this 2A stuff out of there. So unless he's an idiot, like unless he hasn't even looked at another thing online and he's literally only looked at his own videos, he has to know that at any moment he could pivot and just only talk to gun people, manufacturers, do anything. All you have to do is talk to anybody in the industry and he would make everything, more views, more subscribers, more contacts, more mentions on other podcasts of note, because the only people that even talk about them are shit like this where 10 people are watching. That dude has the fortitude, has the ambition or the lack of ambition, depending on how I put it, to stick through and have 100 episodes that I don't think he's getting paid nothing for that by anybody. He's continuing to do that, focused on 2A. Oh, good. Big fancy distraction over here. Did you guys already kill that guy? I gotta go to here. Did you guys already kill this one? No. Thanks for not killing that thing. All right. So then, so Charlie got to 100 and he doesn't even have 1,000 subs. So what are you going to do? That's an indication of the new not giving a shit about the old, not even caring at all. Because I suspect we have more than 1,000 2A advocates out there and they all have clickers on their mouse, probably. Anyway, so you can go watch that. There's a lot of interesting information in there. I've never got Alan to talk at all. Like Alan will sit there and mumble to the floor when I talk to him. So either I have to talk on Alan or he doesn't want to talk to me or he's weird. So he chatted just fine with Charlie in there. And then they ended up I learned a little bit about the whole deal. So anybody ever wants to geek out and talk about the beginnings of all that, we can, because it's semi-interesting. Think about Alan Gottlieb. I don't know how old you are when you were listening to this right now, but when that dude was 24 years old, he decided to start acting nationally on gun owners' rights, right? 24 years old in 1971, out of nowhere, because it had never been done before, decides to start working at a national level for gun owners' rights. 24 years old in 1971. You can say whatever shit you want about Alan Gottlieb. I'll listen to it and I'll agree and disagree with some of it, but tell me somebody else who started it 24 or whatever years old in 1971 and has been consistently moving the playing field. There's all kinds of talk about that Overton window. I think there's a couple of few dudes on our side, right? And there's Bloomberg over there, 14th richest dude on the planet. So there's one round chunk of rock with some water on it that flies around this one sun. And that's where everything we know of is on. And of all the humans that have ever lived and live today, there's the top 14 of those. And that fucking motherfucker is the guy who's putting all the money into anti-gun. And we got people like Alan on this side. I don't think he's anywhere near the 14th richest dude on the planet. Maybe he's super rich and we don't know it, but he's certainly been doing a lot of stuff on this side. So it was an interesting interview. Check it out. And like I say, anybody who wants to chat about the origins, the history, the 1970s era, the resistance to the GCA, the Gun Control Act of 1968. It's actually a group of them that happened in kind of a wave. Let's do it, because the people that were there are pretty much dead, and the people that are still around don't talk to me about it, so we can talk about it, mansplain it to the rest of the youngins who don't care. But that'll go to deaf ears. Nobody will ever pick me up on that. All right, so next is Foss. So there used to be Foos, now we got Foss. And this dude has 318 subscribers. He's not out there doing nothing with ammunition. He's not out there. Actually, he is out there doing all kinds of shit. He's in people's live chat. He's being the wind beneath content providers' wings. He's offering support and assistance and an indication that there's others out there on the planet on the other side of that internet. It's super valuable. If you've never been a content creator, you can't even imagine. And then he does his own show, and he does that in the middle of the night for people that are legit, people that ain't sellouts and sleep all day or sleep all that morning or sleep all night, and just do the easy way of being awake during the day and sleep at night. Those people that are the night owls or the people that do the night shift, he does a show for them people, the real people that make the world work. Everybody else just thinks the world magically resets itself every morning. Oh, everything's full again. Oh, everything is topped off and trimmed up. Isn't it nice that nighttime just makes the world clean again? In real life, a shit ton of people do stuff, and Foss is out there actually being a live conversation for those people. Well done, sir. So 318 subscribers. If you want to subscribe to a channel that doesn't suck, go subscribe to Foss, because in addition to that, he does also some other things. Let's see, so Nfa Modernization Act. That one pissed me off. So everybody hates Gadget, or what's his face? Jared. So a bunch of people hate freaking, what's that guy's name? Crump. And a bunch of people hate Jared. Those people that I don't understand, because Jared might not be doing it with your flavor of soda, but is there anybody else out there with 453,000 subscribers that once again focuses completely on 2A? And you could say he's sold out, but I want to see somebody else with 453,000 subscribers walking the line, being able to focus on 2A and raise to the point of 453,000 subscribers and relationships with all those folks that he has relationships with. I ain't going to do it. So we got to have somebody out there doing it. At least he's doing it. Let's see, Mic Drop. So if you're not listening to Mic Drop, you're dumb, because pretty awesome. He did he hit the 100,000 subscriber mark and did a quick video. So I put a link to it there. And I linked again to this Jason Jones article. So if you got to listen to more. I think Mic Drop is up to 60 something, and there's like 5 of them that aren't good, that are not that great, but there's like 2 that suck, and there's some that are just not good. But there's like at least 40 or 50 that will make you listen to all of them, because he He's an excellent interviewer, but he talks to amazing people. And Jason Jones is the dude from Texas who ran the Rangers and other stuff, like their terrorism and their narcotics interventions, international narcotics interventions, and the Texas Rangers for an amount of time. So incredibly insightful and knowledgeable about what's going on, offers amazing insight as to the situation and why things are the way they are. And again, people don't want to listen to it because it's not easy. I guess it is easy. Actually, you can listen to it, figure out exactly what's going on. But, it doesn't line up with whatever you're being told by whoever the hell's singing some song today. I guess. I don't know why people aren't listening to it. So let's see. I had to watch some video that came up in my feed, and it was this blowhard loser millionaire who makes at least tens of thousands of dollars a week. Like, I can't even imagine making that kind of money. I don't even know what that would be like. And then have to go around to other people and live with them. It's so weird. So this guy is a crusty son of a bitch. And then he did a video with somebody who's kind of decent most of the time, but I didn't think would have ever needed to like run up and deal with this son of a bitch. So anyway, that video pissed me off, and I decided to make this Instagram post bitching about it. So again, let's see what this says in the Instagram post, I guess. Ping pong only works with 2 players. We're not watching the anti-gun folks play ball by themselves. They're not shoving a tether ball around a stick. They're playing ball with somebody, right? The anti-gun side just depends on keeping the same old, our side, keeping the same old tactics and reactions. If we bob and weave when they think we're going to duck and jab, their little dance don't work. So watching that crusty old millionaire in our industry, and there's more than one, but this is the guy that pissed me off, dust off their virtue signals and proceed to tell us how important our rights are, where they go right back to the same old shit of ignoring everything and just raking it in. Well, you're going to get angry if this cycle keeps happening and you eventually see it. So hopefully it won't keep happening. You'll never have to know what I'm talking about. But if it does and you do, you're going to be like, son of a bitch, that's what he was talking about. And I hate this asshole. But they know how many of you will leave by the time the next time comes around. And you might not believe me, but I've been here longer than you, and you are not the first ones to be here. And you will not probably be here when they come back and do their bullshit again. We're in a cycle. We have a history of being exploited by those people who call themselves our friends. We can change that, but it's not going to be them to change it. They're not going to illuminate everybody and say, look at how we exploit this cycle. So we have to question those giants who never mention anything until they need to. And then at the end here, I put in, notice how they waited till this was just about over, but still on somebody's news feed so they could step in. It's almost like they know what's going on. So without any specifics, I hope that still hits home that you are being played, my friends. And I can't tell you, like, you got to just experience it, I guess. So, that's, I guess, the experience of being old is you just got to, unfortunately, watch your friends learn their lessons, and it sucks. I wish I could mansplain it. I've tried mansplaining it. But let's see, what's this all about? It's not about sub or view numbers. Let's take a look. And I guess I had posted this video of shooting some guns into a hill. I was testing the mags to see if they worked. And then I did a big rant over here. So I'm sick of explaining shit. There's, you can go click on that if you want more realness, but most people won't probably. And that's about it. So with that, we're going to end. I guess we'll go over to the other Clover one. Then we got, this is about Texas also. We got Crump talking about the constitutional carry and how there was this story about Texas concealed carry, right? Not constitutional carry, but Texas concealed carry instructors who opposed constitutional carry. And then Crump went in and investigated and called all of the instructors that were mentioned in that article. And it turns out that while some of them did agree about opposing constitutional carry, most either had no idea what was going on, that they were even involved in this, and a couple were definitely against the opposition. In other words, they were pro constitutional carry and were being described as the opposite. So again, people hate John Crump. Some people hate John Crump for some reasons, but he's out there digging in. And I can't see anybody else who thought to just call everybody on that list and ask them. That's all he did. I don't think he did it with like a gold-studded phone or with diamonds on his fingernails. He just made a couple of phone calls and dug in. And there's a chick out there called Mom, actually a couple of chicks out there that run the channel Mom at Arms. They do stuff very similar. And imagine what it would be like with dozens of Crumps and Moms at Arms. Even though people hate them, some people hate them. They're doing interesting things out there. So we'll be adding that to the list here in the description. That's Clover's other one. So I guess we'll have to figure out which one I'm missing and add that one to the description. This was Row Calls after, kind of an after action. I guess they're tender and they don't know how to live in a poor hotel or a cheap hotel. So it's kind of funny listening to these guys complain about the hotel. You don't even know. But whatever, everybody's got their own opinions of what hotels are like, I guess. Let's see, then we had a regular gun guy. This dude's been basically live every night. So there's Yankee going live every night, and then there's this guy going live every night. Is there anybody else? No, I don't think so. So when you go live every night, you get a little bit of everything. So he figured out StreamYard, the Canadian thing I described that we're using over here. And then he figured out that he could bring people in. So he's been having a good time inviting folks in, which is awesome. Because not only is regular gun guy cool, but now he's bringing in all kinds of people that have, I don't know, different, whatever, insights, perspectives, and experience and goals and attitudes and stuff. So pretty neat. Some kid called GHG Hustle. Definitely, if you understand there's a difference between shooting competition 3-gun and there's a difference between that and, I don't know, like shooting 5-stand. Well, there's definitely going to be a difference between the new breed of kids coming up and what they want to do with their guns and how they use them and what they like about them. So, I've watched a lot of different trends in guns, and it's going to be way cooler going forward. Let's see. Then we get. Did I already talk about this one? Jared did the modernization one. Did I already have this one in here? I thought we talked about it. Yeah, looks like I already had this one in here. So, kind of mentioned that Jared gets a lot of flack, but this NFA Modernization Act is one of these bills that's just being proposed, but I don't know if it's been proposed more than once, if it has any chance of going anywhere or not. But it's out there, and it intends to flip the NFA tax to $300 immediately, and then every year after keep up with inflation, trying to move it towards the 3,500 or something that the 200 was supposed to reflect, but has lost its impact because of its being hardwired to the 1934 amount. So it sounds like pretty scary, and I don't know, I guess you can watch it. It's 4 hours long. You can make your own decision if you think Jared is fear-mongering or not, or if he's just informing it in a voice that is his. I don't really care, but I don't see anybody else even talking about it, so I threw that one in there. I don't know if it's got a big potential of going, but I'd certainly like to see acts that say something like remove the tax completely or drop it to $2 or something ridiculous, just to have pushes in the correct direction, right? Oh, I guess I was going through up here. So then the last one is Clover again, and I'm just going to play this because you probably won't care. This 3 minutes about Tulsa. I guess I'll put the audio on also.
Just recently got back from a trip to the world's largest gun show. If you want to know more about that show, stick around because today we're going to talk about it. Let's go. Hey, crew, it's Chris from CloverTac, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, well, on CloverTac we talk about all things farm-related, so if you're into that sort of thing, jump down and smash it.
That super creepy dub was weird. That was super distracting. If you're watching, just FYI, that did not go by.
subscribe button below. While you're down there, if you want to stay up to date on all the new content, well, go ahead and click that notification bell as well. Now, this show was started by the Indian Territory Gun Collectors Association back in 1955, was taken over by Joe Wanenmacher.
So I don't know if he took pictures when it was over or before, like on a Friday when it wasn't even set up yet. But look at how many empty tables there are. And these are empty tables with the chairs still folded and tables in various states of like just barren. So I suspect this was Friday before it was even open. And these are just vendors walking around. But awful lot of guns in their hands and backpacks and stuff for that to be the case. So it could be Sunday. But typically, I guess it's possible to see some completely barren tables. Usually on a Sunday, if the show's still going, any barren table gets sprawled over. Like this guy would sprawl and take as much room as he could, right? Instead of having things piled, he'd take as much space as he could. So maybe this is fake. Maybe he photoshopped the whole thing. I don't know. I'm not saying he photoshopped the whole thing. I'm just saying I can't tell if it's Friday before the show or if it's Sunday at the end of the show. If it's Saturday, we're doomed because this would be the most horrible Tulsa ever.
1968.
I also don't like that he did it at eye level. I think you should definitely look into shoving your camera on a pole and getting it at least as tall as these signs so that you're looking over everybody's head. It was super creepy looking at everybody at eye level.
The Wanenmacher Tulsa Arms Show is the world's largest gun show. But
This is what happens when you walk around with a backpack that only has one strap. So everybody that thinks you're cool walking around with a backpack with one strap, pay attention and know the facts.
it's a year every year, with the exception of 2020 for obvious reasons, in the beautiful city
This is fake.
of Tulsa, Oklahoma. The River Spirit Expo Center is the host for this show.
I don't know where he came up with this. This is how you know Clover's an actual professional.
This is a heated and cooled venue that offers 11 acres
Unless he stole that. This is fake. We know he stole this.
under one roof. Make no mistake, the world's largest gun show fills every nook and cranny of this facility. You're having a hard time picturing 11 acres. I get it. So let's talk about the tables. Most gun shows are promoted by the number of exhibitor tables that are available at the Wanenmacher Tulsa Arms Show. The number of tables easily exceeds 4,000. But end to end, that is roughly 6 miles of tables. Quite a few years
That was Sunday. Sunday late in the day.
we've been lucky enough to work in a media capacity at this show. We post a lot of coverage from this show on other platforms such as Facebook,
This is also clever.
and Instagram. So don't forget to follow us there for even more content. And back to the size of the show.
See this guy? If that was me, I would have clubbed you with that freaking AR upper, taking a picture of me walking around the gun show.
So during one of those trips, I actually decided to walk down each aisle without making any stops now. It took me a half a
Stick that camera on a pole, that guy wouldn't even have known because the camera would have been above his head. You would have looked like some guy holding a pole, and you would have had a shot that actually had some perspective too.
day to complete that journey. The Wanenmacher Tulsa Arms Show happens
I feel like somebody needs to mansplain to this kid that they're in the world's largest gun show and they can fiddle with that cord or whatever on their own time.
2 days in a row. If you wanted to stop at every single exhibitor table,
What was this guy doing? Something happened over here that this guy was doing a double take. That's what I figure.
during those 2 days, you can only spend an average of about 15 seconds at each.
All right, here's what he did wrong there. The first time he did it with live people walking around, and that was fine because it gave you something to look at. This time, with a still image, he should have zoomed. He should have started over here and then zoomed. I don't care if he starts over here and then zoomed, but he should have been zooming.
Seconds at each table. One question before we continue. What is your favorite part of attending a gun show? Hit me up in the comments below
My favorite part is every part.
and let me know. As far
That was pretty clever. So if you're not doing that, you're a dumbass. So all you got to do is screen capture yourself, go into your own video and do what he did right there. He said, type a comment here or whatever. Do that. And then screen capture it and then see what he did. He zoomed. He knows how to zoom.
as far as,
So you screen capture it and then you
as
zoom.
far as
Come on, Clover. Boom. So screen capture it and then zoom in as you're playing it back.
Table. Quick question before we continue. What is your favorite part of a
See how he
gun
zooms?
show? Hit me up in the comments below.
Start doing that. That right there is why he's probably at 30 or 40,000 subscribers right now. Was he at 50,000 subscribers?
And let me know. As far as the exhibits at this show, well, it's a pretty traditional gun show. You won't find much in the way of Senate handles and non-firearm or non-outdoor related stuff, which is really nice. What you will find are...
Look at the effective use of zoom everywhere. That's why it stands out in that one shot where he refused to zoom for whatever reason. Every other place, it's just a nice, comfortable, expected, traditional zooming.
tons of accessories, some great collections of antique and historical military firearms, and many things you've probably never seen before. Since attending this show is definitely an all-day affair for 2 days, you're going to get hungry. So let's talk about the food. There's plenty to eat, and while it is a little bit pricey,
I'm pretty sure he got that guy's face twice just to do it.
it's good stuff. From the massive Frito pie, the chicken on the stick, to the giant corn dogs, to the phenomenal cheese steaks, you're sure to find something to keep you.
I didn't even know those places had signs and names. I thought they were just booths. I didn't know they were legit. Like, are those franchises or are these individual places that are just there?
Fueled up, going strong. So there you go, crew. A little insight and info on the Wanenmacher Tulsa Arms Show, the largest gun show in the world. Hopefully you found this educational. If you have questions, remember, you can always drop those in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out.
I don't know about all this business. So he went and got this graphic, I guess, and then put it as an overlay on top of his video, even though he knows that there's going to be overlays provided by YouTube. Seems like pretty overlay rich. Overly overlaid, but whatever. He's going to do. He lives in Texas.
Thanks for watching, and until next time, don't forget to chain fire freedom.
And I don't know what he's doing with this. He has like some kind of weird taffy apple happen at the end of all his videos. Anyway, so if you watch that without me blabbing in it, it's a pretty decent video. It's 3 minutes long and definitely worth watching. And if you suck at making videos, by watching stuff like that, you'll make yourself better. So now we'll go back and look. Let's just go backwards the opposite way. Just individual places. I don't know what that means. Yeah, the footage was from Sunday. Was so many people Saturday. Hard to do that. Yeah, exactly. Plus you were doing stuff probably on Saturday. I'm watching my wife. Jed Horse says I'm watching my wife make a leather holster for the 1851 Navy right now. She's on the water, then beeswax, burnishing right now, which I don't know if I'm missing the punctuation right. Burnishing right now, which seems to be the most time-consuming part, but I'm listening. Yeah, I don't know if when I started doing the holsters, I think because I was doing them for the little tiny revolvers, so all my holsters were little, so I was doing them out of free leather. I just went to the leather shop, and the guy gave me a bunch, like a whole, what do you call that thing? Like the bags you get at the grocery store now that are plastic. Did you call it a grocery bag? You know, those little tiny half a bag things. He gave me a whole one of them things, though, full of little scraps, and those were enough to make my holster. So I just sort of tore in, and then once I figured out, like, if I had a problem, then I would go watch a video to figure it out. So I never thought to sat down and watch a video to see how to do it first. That's interesting. Did you go to like some traditional route or pick some specific person's recipe? Hear about West Virginia's HB 2793. No, I don't know anything about it. What's going on with this? I've heard West Virginia does things occasionally. Is that the right one? Let me put in 2021 because I think they might recycle their names. House Bill 2793, a bill as amendment relating to permitting of non-residents to obtain state licenses to carry a concealed deadly weapon, providing that the concealed weapons licenses may only be used for pistols and revolvers. Establishing a fee and providing how that fee is to use. Oh, so you're saying that, is this saying that West Virginia is going to allow out-of-state CCW? Is that what we're saying? Would I get a CCW from West Virginia? Probably not, unless it did something amazing. I'm not really traveling too much right now. I would have liked to have had a Minnesota CCW. Couldn't carry in Minnesota because of their weird, I think it was because they wanted a picture on theirs, but they don't really honor anybody's, from what I remember. This doesn't work when I go backwards and then you're responding to the comments at the end. All right, it's hard to talk and yawn at the same time when you're the only one in here. Let's see. So then Alan is legendary status, that's for sure. At least the recipe right now today. Oh, you're saying I got my backwards. No, you really want to blow up. You need to fearmonger the crap out of stuff. That's the recipe. I don't believe so. I mean, fearmongering is a thing, but I think that there's a cycle. I think that there's a reaction that is anticipated or that people are waiting for. So I think following the recipe, then the recipe does include fearmongering, but I think the recipe is sort of like a square dance. You know, sometimes you're do-si-doing, but other times you're sashaying. I don't know all the words anymore. But, you know, people are expecting the square dance, and there's only a couple of times when you're square dancing alone. Most of the time you're square dancing with somebody. Otherwise, you spin out of control. No, that part was very cool. It's not about us talking. Are you just talking about the fact that somebody accepted a CCW when he accidentally gave her a CCW for an ID? I think I was listening to the chat then. And somebody was saying how come it doesn't work, but it's also because depending on what it is, there's, I don't know, like depending on what activity is that requires a license, they're usually going to be trained that there's these licenses work and everything else doesn't. So there's almost always like the state ID and then the state driver's license and then some other number of IDs, but it doesn't always include a CCW, and it almost never includes an out-of-state CCW because that would be a difficult set of pictures or images for someone to compile and then distribute so that every gatekeeper everywhere could determine if a state issued CCW is legit or not, or counterfeit or not. So I think they just default in most of my experience, most places will default to if an ID has a picture on it or not, because usually a picture some threshold, right, indicator that it's official enough that they needed your picture on it. No, you got to hit the timestamp perfectly. I did hit the timestamp perfectly.
She kind of looked at me weird. I was like, what's going on? And she goes, this is a concealed carry permit. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
You're hearing me. I mean, I'm hitting the button, so maybe there's some glitch or something.
This is concealed.
Oops. And then let's see. Then you're back to saying that it never passed on either house before. That is pretty. And here I knew there was one that was an actual question. So Echo from Florida is saying, why is it when we were growing up it seemed like we were doing it the right way? Nowadays, when you see kids doing similar things, but they seem stupid. Well, because we have experience and we now know that we were right. Like we did do it the right way because we did end up knowing everything. But here's the problem. When we're all pretty much the same age, right? We're the good age. Everybody else is either too old, everybody else is too stupid, too young. So when we were born, everything was simple. Like, remember, our parents grew up did they even have telephones? I don't even know if my parents had telephones when they were babies. Like, that's how old they were. So they lived through almost their entire lives. A telephone had little holes on it. And you had to poke your finger into the hole and wiggle it around. And it took you like an hour to make a phone call because you had to wait for the thing to go around. And I don't even think a kid nowadays would even have seen a show with that kind of telephone in it, right? So they don't even know what I'm talking about. And then we come around and we go to push button phones, and our parents were like, "Oh, I don't understand. There's buttons on it, and I have to. Where do I wiggle my finger?" You know, they could not figure out simple things like a VCR clock. What? Like, oh, like they invented the damn thing, and they made a factory for it to pop them out of it, but they couldn't set the damn thing, right? So we grew up where all we had to do was set a VCR and like use a regular phone, and we were geniuses. So we did know everything, like literally. Like I can remember my grandpa literally having a discussion about how I didn't know how to use a slide rule and an abacus. And I was like, come on, what the hell? Come on, right? And then, so, you know, what the hell? It was easy for us to master stuff. Nowadays, we got the internet, so there's cheat sheets. Like, the kids should be able to master anything that we know, plus new stuff. But instead, they don't master nothing but video games. Nothing but video games. Oh, I know this level. Oh, I know what gun to get with this character. Like, that's what they've mastered. Like, oh, I know how to spend time doing something that is of no consequence in long or short term. Maybe they do other things. I don't know. They eat corn syrup also. I don't know. So yeah, so that's the thing. We did know everything. We were geniuses. We wrote it all down. We put it here. Here it is. Here's the instructions. Here's how to do everything good. Our parents were like, I ain't got time to read that. You'll do it for me. And then all the kids were like, I can't read. You do it for me. And we're doing everything. So we're sitting here doing everything still. That's how it is. Sucks to be us. We don't even get paid for it. Let's see. Here's a high point. Pretty cool amendment by a Democrat, freaked everybody out. Oh. Okay, more stupid things. Here's a high point. Pretty cool amendment put in by a Democrat.
Last year was like 2019, I guess, when I was flying back.
What did Ghost do to your links, dude?
You know, show my IDs. When I was checking.
Are you Rickrolling me? Are you ghost rolling me? Am I being ghost rolled?
I guess when I was flying back.
I feel like I'm being ghost rolled. So I'm not even clicking anymore. Your links, dude. I don't know what you're doing to me. Apparently, Clover says that a bunch of interesting things happened on his 5-hour chat and keeps linking me to Ghost's jokes or whatever. And it's probably some scam to make you go listen to his 5-hour chat. Look how much money he's made. He's made thousands of dollars on that chat. So, of course, he wants you to go watch that. All right, I think we've hit them all. If we missed any, come around next week and say stuff, and we'll say at it. With that, what was this, another one? I tried it, 7. What? Oh, this is an actual thing from the thing. So he's saying, try this one at timestamp 7:12. If you can't get the slider, remember your your left and right arrows will often shimmy. Oh, those are big shimmies. So 7:12.
Chair recognizes Ms. Thompson to explain the amendment. Mr. Speaker, members, this bill repeals the offenses in which persons convicted of unlawful possession of firearms. And what my amendment says that those individuals should not have to bear the burden of conduct no longer.
All right.
And
it made
I'm asking for those
Mello
records
cry.
to be expunged.
Nice.
I got your attention, didn't I? You want me to say it again?
Yeah.
All right. In this bill, they have repealed certain offenses. Okay? They no longer criminalize them. So why should those persons who carry the burden of no longer having been criminals why don't we expunge those records? I'm not talking about persons who have been convicted of crimes in the possession of firearms. I'm talking about those persons probably who has been in possession of a firearm and been charged in the possession of a firearm.
Nice.
And this ought to be acceptable to the author.
Nice. Was it? Did they take it? They know they took that. Very good. Very good, Texas. Yeah, thanks for putting that in there. That was definitely a good one. And I agree with Smeggy that you should put that up as a separate video. Perhaps a short. You're all about the shorts. Yeah, you could skip it. Very cool. Well, and also Ghost obviously somehow horked my computer so that it only goes to snippets of Ghost saying stuff. My browser's haunted, obviously. Unanimous. Nice. So you know what? It almost seems like Texas legislatures worked together across the, or whatever it's called, table or whatever it's called. So with that, my dog is looking at me funny and she's crying this whole time because she needs to make a piddle or go outside and look at something or something. So we're going to end this. This dude has a dog that is copying off of my dog. So you might want to, if you're petting your dog on the head at the same time I'm petting this dog on the head, then two white dogs got petted on the head at the same time based on the internet. I bet you Al Gore never thought he would enable that, but he did.